Hey, record-loving friends, this is Brian from Tokyo Record Style. On the recent Japan vinyl tag post, one of the questions was end of the day record. And I was trying to translate that as Otsukaresamadesu, which is what we say when we leave the office or when we complete a task or when we together work on a big project and finally finish it. We all say to each other, Otsukaresamadesu. And I wanted to somehow spark that notion in one of the Japan vinyl tag questions, but I failed to sort of get that across, and it was more about like just winding your day down, end of the day record. But it is Otsukaresamadesu time. I am on my way home, and I just wanted to stop here on my way home and have a Otsukaresamadesu beer. This is a non-alcoholic Asahi Super Dry. We call these silver bullets back in the day when my friends and I used to have lots of street beers, and they'd be going into the conveni and they'd say, "You want something?" And you'd say, "Yeah, pick me up a silver bullet." And this is what they'd be referring to. Not the zero type, which I now absolutely love, but so Otsukaresamadesu. I have a little recap to share with you of this 4-day weekend, starting with this morning. Actually, I had my this is my trusty steed right here. It is a Honda GB250, and it is a rusty old cafe racer. And I see people sometimes refer to it as a scooter, and I kind of want to go to her defense and say, she's not a scooter, she's a cafe racer. But I always feel like it would be a little bit over the top to say such a thing, but she is a nice little bike. This is my third one. This is my third GB. And the other two I've had have been much nicer than this one, but I've had to say goodbye to them at several points for various reasons. But one recently came back to me, and because this one, she was gifted to me, I was able to, without hesitation, sort of tinker her apart. She didn't have any resale value, so to speak. So I stripped, there goes the ambulance. I stripped the paint off her tank, and I chopped off a few bits here and there, and I didn't really worry that she was gonna have to, you know, be anybody else's bike to enjoy but mine. So she's kind of on her last leg. She's a Honda. So I grew up on Hondas, and I didn't really think I was a like super Honda guy, but I actually keep a Honda in America. I have a Honda Transalp 600V in the States, in '89, the first one that they brought to the States. It's kind of become a classic bike over the years. It was a bike that I lusted for as a young teenager. We basically had all the little Honda dirt bikes, and the Transalp and the Africa Twin were, you know, motorcycles that I saw in the magazines and said, oh my God, someday I'm gonna go to Africa, and I'm gonna go on a safari, and I'm gonna go over the Alps, and I'm gonna ride the Transalp and the Africa Twin. So I didn't realize it until recently when I went to the Honda Memorial Hall at Motegi Raceway. We went up there as a family for my son's birthday maybe a year ago, and we saw the super bike races. Oh my God, it was insane. And we just got really lucky that one of the sort of limited experiences that they only offer to a few people, we just happened to be at the right place at the right time. We got to hop on this sort of tour bus, and they took us into the circuit and on one of the hairpin turns. And after we just kind of like, they took us to a few little spots inside in the circuit. One was up at the top of the hill where you just watch these these fucking race bikes fly by at a gajillion miles an hour. And then we moved to another part of the track and went down the embankment of the incredibly steep sloped curve of one of the tracks, and they took us to this hairpin turn, and we saw all the guys coming around the corner. I had my camera out there with my telelens. It was a lot of fun. But outside of Motegi Circuit is the Honda Memorial Hall, which is a weird name. Sounds like a place where motorcycles and cars go to die, but it's actually the museum for the Honda company and for the Honda brand. And when you walk in, you see like this really cool classic F1 early super race car. I'm not even sure what it is. And then you're taken to the sort of entrance to a 4 or 5 story museum hall, which starts with like lawnmowers and farm equipment and you know, tillers and different things that you might find on the factory or on the local rice farm or something like this. And the gentleman who started the Honda company, you know, I think they have their motto is something like "Make dreams come true" or "Dream big" or something like this. Honda Dream. And you proceed to go up this floor by floor where you start out to see like early motorcycles and scooters, the Honda Cub, which is quite famous. And then you're taken to the bigger motorcycles, and there's just like every single bike that Honda has ever made, every one, I think, is on display there, like a brand new version that like went directly off the factory line and into the museum. And the next floor you're taken up to has all the dirt bikes and all the road bikes and all the touring bikes, the, you know, Gold Wings and you know, the Africa Twins that I mentioned earlier, all the Dakar and motocross bikes. And then you get taken up to like the passenger cars, and then to some of the high performance cars and the NSXs and these types of things, and all the classic Civics and, you know, Accords and JDM cars that you'll probably be familiar with. And then on the top floor is all the super exciting Le Mans and F1s and crazy, super insane team race cars that are just, you know, go like engineering at its pinnacle. Super amazing place. And I didn't really realize until I left the Honda Memorial Hall that pretty much all the bikes that I've ever had were Hondas. And this has become a Honda infomercial. Oh, kampai, I didn't quite. Otsukaresamadesu. I didn't quite realize until I was leaving the Honda Memorial Hall, I hope that's the right name, that I realized that I was kind of like, this brand is kind of a part of my upbringing. It's, I didn't realize it, but I kind of have a little bit of Honda in my heart. And I guess I'm a fan of the brand. It's kind of, I met a guy who worked for Kawasaki one time, and I said to him, like, what's the kind of, Kawasaki's an interesting brand. It's not like Honda, which makes, you know, airplane jets and cars and, you know, consumer products and things like this. Nor is it like Suzuki, which makes a handful of products, or Yamaha, which makes everything from like pianos to all kinds of, you know, cars. And my friend told me about Kawasaki, that it was like the macho guy's motorcycle brand. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. That kind of checks. It's got like sort of, everything's got a little bit of a weight to it. It's got a little bit of a stance to it. Everything looks a little bit beefier and a little bit tougher on a Kawasaki. And they sound a little bit, you know, meaner. And they have those inline fours and lots of, you know, what do they call them? Super bikes, what are they called? Street fighters, the street fighters that you see on the Shoto on Saturday night, which are racing each other with giant, huge back tires that go right past the Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Super insane. Terrifying, actually, when you see them zip right past you. If you ever get the chance to come to Tokyo and you're a motorcycle rider, take a couple of loops on the C1 or the C2 on the Shoto Highway and kind of cut across some of the cross intersections and just see some of the pandemonium that goes out there. It really is like those movies. It's crazy people doing crazy stuff. And I like to stay on the shoulder of the highway and just kind of watch it as it all goes by. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. You see some really ratty, crazy, insane supercars, people that drive their cars to the limit. Not long ago I saw a Diablo, a yellow Diablo out there that was kind of thrashed, and the guy just, you know, drove the hell out of his Lamborghini Diablo. Amazing. So anyway, this bike has given me a lot of headaches. The motor starts up every time, like these Japanese brands tend to do, the Toyotas and the Hondas, but just like my old dirt bikes, you know, after a long winter of sitting, you know, when it was time for spring riding, every time they start right up, kick right over, and this one's no different. It always goes, but because this one's an 87 and it's been put through a lot, it's got some 60K kilometers on it, which is quite a lot for a motorcycle. It's starting to, the peripheries are starting to go. And my starter died after this dominoes of electrical problems I was having. And there's no parts for this bike anymore. They discontinued this bike. You can no longer get it, and there's no more parts. And so there's no more starters online or at the Honda dealership or any of the parts stores. So I actually took the starter apart this morning and repaired it with some new contacts, and I managed to actually successfully put it all back together. It was kind of like taking apart a little watch. It wasn't that complicated, but it was sort of like parts of parts. It was kind of fun, a little repair. And so now she starts up just like she should every day, and she'll probably keep going until the next thing breaks on her. But that was something that happened this weekend. I was sort of thinking that I wasn't going to be able to get to it, but managed to get to it this morning. And a couple of the fun things that happened over the weekend, it was kids' days at school. Parents were welcome to join the open house, the school festival at my son's school on Saturday and my daughter's school on Sunday. And after we visited my daughter's school in the center of Tokyo, I jotted off from the family and went to the, first I went to the Ebis Photography Museum, the Tokyo Photographic Arts Museum, only to find out that the exhibition that I wanted to see was not actually there. It was a few stations away at the Roppongi Tower in the Mori Art Museum. That was the Paul McCartney, I've forgotten the name of the show. It was in a really spectacular showing by Paul McCartney, 1,000 photos that were recently uncovered in his archive. And the name of the show is not on my ticket stub, but it was the Paul McCartney photography show. And as a photographer, it was a big deal to me to go, and it was just absolutely amazing. And I've made a video for you, and it's coming up. And that is kind of what I wanted to get to, is that there's lots of videos that I want to make and that I want to put on the list. I've got all kinds of different things in the works at the moment, but I wanted to get this out and say that I'm working on these different videos. And a couple of the things that I wanted to get to, where I wanted to send a very, very big thank you to all the people who have taken the Japan Vinyl Tag 2024 challenge. I am really, really stoked. I really made this Japan Vinyl Tag challenge for myself to commemorate my 20 years in Tokyo. I arrived here in 2004 in the summer, in August, and I just hit the 20-year marker. And as a sort of way to commemorate it, the milestone for myself, I put this Japan Vinyl Tag together, and it was really long, and I really didn't expect anybody to jump on board, but a lot of people have. Actually, I heard somebody say on one of the videos, I hope more people jump on this tag because it seems like it hasn't really been picked up that well. It hasn't been really that popular. And yet some 12 people have done it so far, and I am completely humbled that 12 people have done it. That to me is a massive, massive success. And not to talk shit about other vinyl tags that people do, but they often tend to be about showing the records. What record do you have for this, and what record do you have for that? And my vinyl tag tended to be like, how would you interpret this idea of a sunrise soundtrack? Or what's your concept of a Go, Go, Go Godzilla, a record that destroyed your perceptions? And I think that what accidentally it facilitated was people began to speak more deeply about their records than they typically do on the vinyl tags. They always talk about their records, but I was really encouraged and really uplifted to hear everybody talk about the records, and I haven't really been able to say thank you in earnest to everybody who's done it, because one of the things that I sort of discovered in the process of doing the vinyl tag is that I listened from beginning to end all the records that one of the participants put forth. Music is a Journey, Peter, I want to say, forgive me, I'm spacing your name, but Music is a Journey put together an amazing list, and some things caught my attention, and I went and listened to all the records, and I was like, oh my God, I have to do this for everybody. I went back and listened to all of Glenn's records. I listened to all of Glenn from Glenn the Baker, Curtis from Young LP Lovers, Rachel's Ghost, oh my God, did one. I was so chuffed that she did that one. And actually Vinyl Richie, I just discovered that just like yesterday that Vinyl Richie did one of these. Vinyl Richie, who's, you know, quite a character in the VC, he put together a list and I missed it. He didn't tag me in it, so I managed to miss it, and it was a hilarious, awesome list. And he was belly aching about how it was too long, and I went on, and I saw him making the same complaint on other people's streams. And I said to him, well, do your own interpretation of it, and that's exactly what he did. He went and made this really impromptu, hilarious list, and he really reiterated all the questions, and he really made it his own, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm gonna get to all the records that he listed up, because as you know about Vinyl Richie, he's a pretty big aficionado about all different kinds of music, especially punk music, and so many of the records, in fact, most of the records that he put forward for the tag, I don't know what they are, and I'm really excited to go explore them. And in due time, I'm actually going to try to listen to everybody's records and give everybody a shout out. And if you go to the Tokyo Record Style YouTube page and you go to the community tab, you will see everybody who's participated. You'll see their name, their channel, and all of their choices. I've actually gone and cataloged everybody's selections, and not only that, I've linked them up to the YouTube playlists or videos that mention those selections that they've made, and I've been listening to them, you know, non-stop, and I've been taking a long time, several days, to take in one person's vinyl tag, and my God, this is the most fun I've been having since I got on the VC. It's real, since I got on YouTube and been participating in this VC thing. I think this has been a really fun and super successful experience, and I want to give a shout out to everybody who I've already mentioned. Peter at Music is a Journey. Did I say Peter? I think I did. Kyle at Stax channel, go follow Stax. Romauld at French Vinyl Act, that was amazing. Hey Rami, thanks for participating, and I see lots of comments going on, and you engaging with other people who have done it. Thank you for you know, extending the afterglow of your video. And I have not yet thanked David Atkinson of Life Matters. He put together a phenomenal list, and he had a really great delivery and a really poignant stage presence, and I was really curious to listen to his list, and I'm still on it. I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I'll call out some of his selections. He did for a Japanese band, he selected Yuichi Sakamoto and David Byrne's The Last Emperor. I'd never heard that before. Very interesting soundtrack. Fleet Foxes, Lou Reed's New York for a city sound. Tangerine Dream has been listened to on a couple of different lists. And oh my gosh, this one, Saint Saëns Symphony, number 3, organ by the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. This thing blew my mind. It was amazing. Really powerful piece of composed classical symphonic music. Just an amazing performance, and I think this Chicago orchestra is a well-oiled machine. I love a little quote that one of my favorite musicians, Trey Anastasio, says about orchestral music. He says, you know, there's nothing tighter on God's green earth than an in-tune orchestra. So that was one of about 3 or 4 classical pieces that David Atkinson had on his list. I just listened today to a 4-hour opera, which is way outside of the box of the things that I typically listen to. It was a lot of fun, but there was also music from all kinds of genres, some completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Donna Summer, Manic Street Preachers, I'd never heard of them before. They were quite good. Listen to Metal, one of my favorite Pink Floyd records. It was great to have that on the headphones today. I still have some interesting stuff ahead of me. I think I'm on, we've got some, oh, he's got Pink Moon. He's got a handful that I actually own on vinyl, and rather than listen to them on my headphones, I may go home and listen to them on vinyl. But I do still have some homework on this one. A 3 LP set, live set from Santana Lotus I've never heard before. He added Miles Davis in a Silent Way, which was on my list actually. Richard Hawley, which I've heard other people acclaiming, so excited to listen to that, and a live record from Bruce Springsteen in New York City, which I haven't heard. Also, this morning, I watched, before I mention that, Brian at Embryonic Robot in Toronto followed up shortly thereafter, or slightly before David Atkinson's list, his own amazing list. Our musical tastes overlap a lot, but there was some stuff that I really didn't know. He had NWA, Straight Outta Compton on there, King Crimson, some Springsteen. Oh, Brian Eno, Thursday Afternoon for a Sunrise soundtrack. I love this record. It was one of my favorites. And one of the fun things about when you watch these people doing the vinyl tag and they say, for a Sunrise soundtrack, I chose Brian Eno's, Thursday Afternoon, and I'm cooking breakfast when I'm listening to this, and I'm like, yes, I love Thursday Afternoon. Yeah, it's a nice choice, Brian. And I kind of want to capture that and make sure that Brian understands that I'm really digging him on his selections, and I tried to make a comment on people's video. Yo, I'm still listening, and I haven't even started listening to your list in earnest yet, but I'm really digging it already. So that's queued up next. He's got some Velvets in there, some stuff I don't know. He's a big Husker Du fan, and he's got some Bob Mould records that I need to check out. And the Clash and the Smiths. Oh no, admittedly, not much of a Smiths fan, but let's see if I can get on board the Smiths. Maybe it's possible. Some Prince and some more stuff. I won't give all the secrets away. Go check out David Atkinson, Life Matters. Go check out his YouTube channel and his video, and check out Brian at Embryonic Robot. 2 great Japan vinyl tag entries. Thank you so much, gentlemen. It was really great. And this morning I watched Fitz Electric Bar, I believe from Vancouver. Fitz, I didn't know about you, and I haven't gone through the process of archiving all of your records yet, but I did listen to your whole video, and I really, really dug it. And oh man, it was really great. And you having lived here in Japan for a number of years in the 90s, there was a lot of, common ground, and I liked how you had watched a bunch of other people's videos and were shouting some of them out, and there was some overlap all over the place. So that was really cool. I'm really excited to promote your video as best I can, and go through an intentional listening experience like I've done with everybody else so far. Give me I really hope I can keep at this, but it's been so, rewarding. I'm leveling up my music knowledge, and I'm getting to know all you guys. I'm really getting to connect in this really cool and deep way with, these people through their music. So that's been really cool. Fitz, I'm not sure about your name yet, but Fitz, you have a great stage presence as well, and I really enjoyed your video. Oh, and there was Steve. I got to give a shout out to Steve. I skipped over him. Steve at the Eclectic Record Collector. God, Steve gave a powerful Japan vinyl tag list. I was really moved. Everybody's done amazing. Steve is one of these guys who, his appreciation for music isn't just passion, it's about deep understanding, synthesis, and how to articulate it. He's very eloquent and very considered about the choices that he made. And oh man, there was a few choices in there. I only went through and like I cataloged his list. So much of it I'd never heard of before. And what was remarkable is that all of his choices were Japanese records. He actually was the first and only person who has done the Japan vinyl tag with all Japanese records and deep cuts and really interesting stuff. I highly recommend, among everybody's presentations, you go check out Steve from the Eclectic Record Collector. And if you make it all the way to the end of his video, you will be rewarded with a very nice little nugget. He's got a pretty fun little outro, so go check out his videos. And Vinyl Richie, I gave a shout out to. Thanks so much. I think Ivon from Norway, whose channel's name is escaping me right now, regular Rachel's Ghost contributor, and just all around good dude, good guy. Ivon, shout out to you. I think he's got one coming up. He keeps sending me a, yo, I've got my Japan vinyl tag video coming. And I think Marty, whose name I'm also spacing, is gonna do one. But good grief, I'm getting all the cool kids doing my vinyl tag. I'm so humbled. Thank you guys so much. This has been such a thrill, and man, I really feel like I'm like Tom Sawyer, and you know, I'm getting paid for you guys to paint the fence. That's the way I feel. Not to make anybody feel hoodwinked, you know, that I've tricked you into doing this, but I have just, it's really been more for me than maybe it's been for you. So I think that's maybe there's a little lesson in there, you know, maybe giving to give is to receive, to put yourself out there is to get it back. And I put a lot of effort into my Japan vinyl tag video, and but I've really gotten a lot more out of it than I ever expected. So very, very big thank you and salute to everybody who's participated. If you want to participate in the Japan vinyl tag, then go check the show notes, go check out Japan vinyl tag 2024 on Tokyo Record Style. I made it specifically so that you needn't really know a lot of Japanese records or have any Japanese records or even be steeped in knowledge about Japan. I've made it just sort of Japanese themed, and so that really anybody can participate. And if it's too long for you, and if you did, you know, Dylan at Noble Records, if you did his vinyl summer vinyl tag challenge and you're vinyl tagged out, then and you still kind of are a little bit curious about the Japan vinyl tag, then consider doing maybe a half of it. I admit, like 13 of the 20 questions are kind of duds. They're a little bit like repeats of other questions. I think there's 7 good questions in there. I think you could go do 5 or 7 without much complaint. So be encouraged to like go do a mini version of it. Take a cue from Vinyl Richie and reinterpret it, rejig it so it fits your interests and your taste and make it work for you. And yeah, and I double dog dare any of you big vinyl community influencers, you know who you are, I triple dog dare you to dip your toe in the Japan vinyl tag challenge. And I mean, you know, join some of the cool kids. You know, see if you can outshine some of the David Atkinsons or French Vinyl Addict or Steve at Eclectic Record Collector. You've got your work cut out for you. These guys have done an amazing job, and they know music. These guys are the real music appreciators. So please believe me when I say how honored I am to have this particular crew having participated in this fun Japan vinyl tag. Okay, so one more shout out to my bike, okay? Let's get it right. It's a motorcycle. It's a cafe racer. It's not a scooter, okay? So let her have some dignity, okay? You know, I know she's like rusty and everything, but don't belittle her by calling her a scooter. She's a proper motorcycle, okay? My father's a motorcycle racer, okay? I got motorcycle in my blood. I have owned one scooter, and I killed it on a highway, like Dumb and Dumber style, truly Dumb and Dumber style, on the way to the bowling alley, up the giant, giant hill to Denver. Two idiots on a little tiny scooter. It was good times though. Okay, I'm going home now. I'm gonna throw this directly onto YouTube, as is probably, and get to work on the video about the Shimokitazawa Light Festival, which is happening right now. I highly recommend you check out, and the Paul McCartney photography show at Mori Art Museum that hopefully I can get it out in time, and encourage anybody who's here in Tokyo to go see both of those things before they go. But this video will go out first. Okay. Otsukaresamadesu! Otsukaresamadesu! Job well done, end of the day, we did it. Been there, done that. Gonna cruise home, rubber side down. That's what we say to each other in motorcycle world. Rubber side down. Kiotsukete, be careful. All right, vinyl community, this was fun. Thank you for indulging me in another video. Until next time. Oh, like, subscribe, share, do all those things. Smash that notification bell and get notified of the next video that gets made. And until next time, I will see you at the record store. Bye.